Hello, my loves, and welcome back to another guest episode on UNFUCK Your Life, the show for ambitious women who are ready to calibrate to their next level. Now, today's guest that I have with me on the show is a woman that I had on my podcast before, like just over a year ago. We were just japping about, it must have probably been like in early or mid-January last year, and holy shit, so much happened in both of our lives since then. In our last episode, we've been talking about being single and how that's an amazing time in your life, and we'll go a lot deeper in today's episode into that. She's a fellow generator. She's a Sag moon. You babes know I'm a Sagittarius sun, so there's a reason why we're vibing. And she's an absolute powerhouse woman. I've been following her journey for probably 4 or 5 years. Been loving what she does. So yeah, she's great when it comes to all things female empowerment, self-healing, personal development work, and like bringing the spice too. Like she does it in a way where it's like, yeah, like you're activating me. So I appreciate people like that on my podcast. So Krista Williams is the co-host of one of the top health and wellness podcasts, Almost 30. You might have heard of it. If not, it's going to be linked in the show notes, which has amassed over 100 million downloads, which is low-key insane. Let me just say that. She's a public speaker, retreat facilitator, and the creator of Metamorphosis, a body transformation program, as well as the Life Edit, which is a total life transformation program. And through her work, Krista has established herself as an influential person in the health and wellness and spirituality space. I love this woman. I love her weekly meme threads that make me cry love every single time I read them. And I just love what she stands for, the message she spreads, and like the way in which she is communicating it. So Krista, welcome to UNFUCK Your Life. It's so great to have you back on here.
I'm so glad to be here. I'm so glad to be here with your audience. We were just jamming before, getting juiced up and warmed up on everything we're going to be talking about today, so I'm really excited.
Me too. So today we'll dive into all things wellness trends that actually work, transforming your life from the inside out, the Saturn Return, and why it's such an important time in your life where you really want to be connected to yourself during that time. And we'll also jam on Krista's upcoming book that she has just released by the time this episode goes live. So first things first, in the last episode, which was probably episode 51, 52, something like that, we talked about your life story in the beginning, so we won't do that today. Let's actually just recap this past year for you, because I know you've been dating, and I mean, I've been dating. Like, we just talked before we started the episode about how interesting it was that we were talking about the single era on our episode and all of that, and like how exciting that time is. And then literally, I think a week or two later, I broke up with my now ex. So great timing. So we have a lot to say about that. What have you learned in terms of dating, especially like conscious dating for you, obviously, like in LA? What have you learned? What have you experienced, realized? And also, what's in store for like this year, like project-wise, personal-wise, work-wise? Let's dive into that.
Yeah, so just for anyone that's new to me or listening, so I was in a relationship for 10 years. So I was married, and then I got divorced like 2 years ago. And before that, I had been in relationships basically back to back since I was 15. So I had a 5-year relationship, a few 2-year relationships. It was just all relationships all the time. So I had never been single. So I didn't really know how to date or what dating was like or dating multiple people. And I had really beautiful growth experiences in relationship, but dating is a whole different ballgame. Like, it's just a different experience, especially dating in today's world with apps. Like, I did not meet my ex on an app. Apps were just starting when we met. So totally missed the app experience. So to come back into the dating world, being older, being divorced, and coming back when apps exist and this time and space was so different for me and so interesting. And I took the first year off of my divorce, completely single, didn't talk to anyone, didn't open myself up at all. I wanted to heal. I wanted to recalibrate. I wanted to just ground in, because when you spend a lot of time in relationship with someone, you're sharing so much energy that there's an energy cleansing period that you have to have post breakup. You actually need to like have a cellular dissolving, a cellular breakup in addition to the breakup that you have, where your cells are calibrating back to your unique essence or your energy. So I allowed myself to do, it's so true, you know, like you're merging cells all the time with your partner, sexually, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. So just allowing myself to be back to my own essence and frequency was the best. And then I started dating like a year ago. So probably when we first started, or maybe in the conversation, but I've been dating for a year now. And oh my God, it has given me so much compassion, understanding, like love for everyone on earth, because I'm just like, wow, I now get it. It's been humbling me in a way that I didn't expect. And I think when I was married, I was like, you guys just say no, like keep your standards high. And then you actually get in the dating world and you're like, whoa, this is a whole freaking vibe. This is a whole experience. And so overall, just to say, it's been incredibly fun and beautiful and powerful. Yes, heartbreaking at times, embarrassing at times, cringe at times, but I chose and choose to see it as something that's fun, and I choose to see it as something that I'm empowered in. I'm not the victim. I'm not going to let anyone tell me who I am or what I stand for or how my worth. Like, that is completely determined by me. So my experience has been overall really, really fun and definitely very, very interesting.
For sure, and I bet it's like it's the ultimate personal development, it just speeds it all up, right? Because you're continuously experiencing yourself through another person. You get to know new sides of yourself through all these new people, like depending on how much you're dating, obviously, like, but for me in the past few months, I was like, yeah, like I'm very open to like going on all these different dates with like very different types of people, like very different. So like there wasn't even like this one type anymore. It was just like I really want to see what's for me. And I think, as you said, it's very humbling, and you got to have compassion for everyone else, but also for yourself. Whenever you do feel like you're maybe sacrificing parts of yourself or starting to hide certain parts of yourself, which obviously we don't want to do that. But I think, yeah, like when you're getting back into it after a longer-term relationship, which in your case, like 10 years, that's insane. For me, it's been almost 4, so like also like long-term.
Yeah.
It's like, it's interesting, right? And I love how you pointed out it's important to kind of like recalibrate and kind of detach yourself energetically, mentally, emotionally from your ex. And you know, when you said that, like what came up for me was, wow, like I literally did that before I even broke up. Like I literally moved out of our house and I moved away, like moved in with a girlfriend like 4 months before I broke up. So like that's insane, right? So like literally I gave myself 4 months already. And it's like it's crazy how like the subconscious does things like that. You can literally feel it coming, right? You can feel it coming, you're preparing for it.
And women are so intuitive, you know, men always come back. You know, have you heard that phrase? Men always come back.
And it's damn true.
Oh, it's always true. And you know why? Because women leave the relationship even before they've left the relationship. So for the last year of my relationship, I was essentially in my own grief and breakup process. I knew it was over, but I was going through the motions. We had a trial separation, so we spent 4 months apart as well.
Oh, interesting.
And so
we did that too.
Yeah, which you know you're doomed if you're doing that. But anyways, it could work for people. For us, it was, you know,
it can totally work.
It worked in the end at the highest level where we're happy, you know, it worked. But men don't process the breakup until months after, years after, because they kind of go into their avoidance mode, their numbing mode. They don't feel or heal until a lot longer. So women usually, when they're done with the relationship, when the relationship ends, they are completely done. Maybe they're sad, maybe they have some feelings and emotions, but there's actually little attachment. So it's very empowering to think about as women, like when we end relationships like that, you just leave so empowered because you've gone through this grief process, this transformation process. That's why women have such glow ups after, because they're like, oh, I earned this. Like I am now absolutely free. And I know you had like a glow up after your breakup too.
Yep. Definitely feeling very good. Like you just start feeling more like yourself again because you realize, well, if that person, because you obviously broke up for a reason, right? Like we're not saying here like, oh, like when you're in a relationship, like you're a lower version of yourself. It's just when you're not with the right person that it might actually take away your spark and like your life force energy slowly and surely getting drained. And so I think, yeah, like what really happens for us is we're starting to show up as our true authentic selves again. And like, we're like, well, now I live life as I truly want, and I don't have to water myself down anymore. And that feels amazing in every single aspect, right?
Yeah, because I think for a lot of women, and I'll speak for myself too, that when I was in my relationship with my ex, there was a constant conversation that my subconscious was having that was like, oh, he's not going to like if I say this, or he gets upset if I'm too sparkly, or I know that he doesn't want to talk about money, or I know he doesn't want to see me doing this, or he's insecure about this thing. And so this conversation is happening without us knowing for so long. And I had such deep conversations of limiting beliefs, things that were holding me back for 10 years. So I essentially was hiding for a really long time. So when I got out of that relationship, I could look at those subconscious beliefs, see where they came from, because they didn't just come from him. They usually came from childhood, be with those and heal those, and then step into a place where I no longer have a person around me or someone that's bringing up the subconscious beliefs that are making us small or keeping us hiding. And for women, a lot of us will choose the attachment or the connection of our partner over being our brightest, most powerful, sparkly selves. So we'll get into the relationship and he'll be attracted to this very magnetic, sparkly woman, and then we'll get in relationship and we'll be afraid to lose them. So we'll become small and we'll just like make ourselves small, be nice, agree, you know, help be the mom in the relationship, whatever, because we want to keep them. And so when we get out of the relationship and liberate ourselves from this role that we've been playing in the relationship, to hide, to make ourselves small, to be their mother, to be controlling, we just become completely free, and we can recalibrate to the truth of who we are, which is a powerful, magnetic, radiant being. And now the real work is to keep that magnetic, beauty, radiant, vital essence when we can get into relationship again, because that's the real test of relationship, is how can you be sovereign in your energy and in your soul and still be connected and loving with someone. And that relationship template of sovereignty, of being sovereign but yet being in your power, is a new one that's coming online to the planet and hasn't really happened before. Not many of our parents were sovereign and in their power and in their vibrance and their vitality in their relationships. It could have happened. It's a beautiful thing if so. But for many of us, we saw codependency. We saw, you know, not really good relationships. So we kind of repatterned that, or we re-experienced that. But now we're stepping into a new opportunity to be ourselves, our true selves in relationship, which is so beautiful.
That's absolutely true. I so agree on that. And two things you said stood out for me. Number one, like checking on, for everybody who's in a relationship right now, like checking on, where am I? And if so, where am I watering myself down? Where am I hiding parts of myself in my current relationship? Is there any circumstance, situations where I continuously and repetitively, you know, shrink or play small or like not speak up or like please my partner, and in the process abandon myself and reject my true self? And if so, how can you flip that? And then, because everybody's probably like, everybody's in a relationship is like, oh, well, have I lost my spark in my relationship now? Like, what have I? Like, am I less of myself? Like, check on that. Like, feel into that. You'll intuitively know. Like, have you been more of yourself before the relationship? If so, definitely that's something to look into. But then also, like, the real challenge, and you just said that, lies in regaining your spark after, which a lot of women do. But then actually keeping that in the next relationship, which I'm a firm believer, if you're the right person, they will only, you know, expand you and like empower you without even saying a word to be more of yourself and allow you, give you permission, subconscious permission to be more of yourself. So that will naturally happen. But if that is not the case, really you making sure to stay in your power and you making sure this time I'm not going to shrink, I'm not going to play small, I'm not going to change, I'm not going to adapt to that person to a degree where I start losing myself. Because adapting is normal, right? Like finding a common ground with your partner is normal, meeting them where they're at is normal. It's like normal to like to change a little bit to a certain degree to like become more compatible or to make life easier. But if it's to a degree where you reject your true self and you abandon and hide who you truly want to be, like your values or like your spark, even just your personality, then that's where it becomes a problem. So like that's really like the real challenge, right? It's like staying sparkly when entering a new relationship. How are you going to make sure you do that? Like what are some tips and tricks for all my single girlies now that are in this phase of, oh, I'm ready for the right person, I'm open for my man, like my husband, to come around, and like how do we make sure to actually stay sparkly, stay magnetic, and not change too much for the right person?
Yeah. So I think firstly, you know, being open for your person and for your husband, it's checking in. Do you not want to be alone, or do you want to find your person? Because when we are, and all the girlies listening are spiritual, deep, powerful, intuitive women. So your path is different than a normal person. So your path in relationship is a path of growth and transformation and initiation and beauty and depth. Like, it's not nothing. So you are also committing to a path of growth and depth and transformation. And it is something that will transform you in the best way possible. So we have to remember that when we look for our husband or our partner, sometimes we can just think of the positive elements of it, but we also have to think of all the wounding that comes up, all the work that we have to do. They're as beautiful as they are a challenge for us as humans on earth. So it's expecting it to be beautiful and deep and powerful and expansive and sparkly, but also to be something that is a part of our soul's assignment here on earth. So when we've chosen to look for our partner or to cultivate or call in our partner, I think something that's important to do to stay sparkly is, first of all, being sparkly for ourselves and understanding what that feels like from a cellular level. So when we can really cultivate that understanding from a cellular level and we can lock in, like, I'm going to make note when I feel my brightest, my shinest, my sparkliest. Maybe that's at a dinner with friends. Maybe that's in front of a board meeting. Maybe that's out, performing. Maybe that's when I'm at my house. Like, when do you feel that? And how can you really, like, settle into that and lock that in and remember what that feels like so that you have a memory associated with that, so you can go back to that memory in time and really make sure to cultivate it in that relationship. And also, what is important about the dating process is you can go to every single date and see where you're negotiating your sparkliness for this person's comfort. So this is what I've been doing in my dating process is I use each date as an opportunity for me to grow and as an opportunity for me to know myself more. Of course, there's a part of me that has a desire to make connection and have fun and have chemistry and whatever, hook up, like find my man. But there's really the number one desire is for me to know myself more. So whenever I'm on dates with people, I will see where I negotiate being my true self because I want to be nice, I want to be accepted, or I want to keep this connection. As an example, last night I went on a date with this man. And he is vegan, plant-based, and I have been vegetarian since I was 19. I had 6 years of being vegan. So he tells me he's vegan and plant-based, and I say, oh my God, I'm plant-based too. And I stopped being plant-based like 2 years ago. So I don't eat meat still, but I'm not plant-based anymore. I have eggs, I have fish, sometimes I'm just a little bit more flexible. And I caught myself being like, okay, Krista, there you go. Like, there we go. We're trying to make him like you more. We're trying to like be agreeable, all these things. And I just was like, damn. So in my head, I'm having this conversation. Agreeable. In my head, I'm being kind to myself, but I'm clocking. I'm like, Krista, you need to tell him eventually that you're not plant-based, but I'm witnessing you do this. And I'm like, fuck, I did it again. I'm like, oh, okay. So later on in the dinner, I was like, I have to tell you something. I lied and said I'm plant-based and I'm not plant-based anymore. Like, I just wanted to get you to like me. Like, and I just made a joke about it and kept it light, but just watching yourself on dates and see where you don't tell the truth, see where you hold back, see where you negotiate. And this is where, if you are with someone you like, if you're with someone you have chemistry with, if you are with someone that there's a risk if you lose each other, you are going to negotiate all of those things and then some. So watch yourself on dates. And when you're negotiating, that's a small window into how you're going to negotiate when you're in relationship.
That is so true. And the thing is, like, it's on the first date. So, like, imagine how much more you would negotiate and kind of shrink and, like, change about yourself further down the line when it gets a little bit more serious. I truly, and this is so true, babe, I love that you said that. I truly believe that, and I believe in this concept, and I've been only starting to, like, really do that, like, as of lately, is showing the person all of me, like, right away, no matter how embarrassed I might feel, because it's all of me. It's like, it's true, it's authentic, it's raw, it's like, a lot of people might not like it, right? Like the way I laugh, or like I like the way I talk super fast. Like, there's so many things about me that I'm like, well, like, there's probably a bunch of men that will be like, what the fuck, like what's wrong with her? But like, that is all of me, and I want someone to see that right away. And it's so hard though. It's such a conscious commitment to make going into a date, being like, yeah, actually, you get to see all of me right now, and I'm not gonna like try to be this picture perfect woman for you that you might actually be a little bit more attracted to, but then also reminding yourself the right person will be so damn attracted to those little things that like that you might think are like make you less likable in the end. So I really love how you put that, like calling yourself out, making a joke about it. I think this is a really great way to go about it as well. It's like being so honest about, yeah, I
Yes.
actually wanted you to like me and that's why I did this. Like, I love that. That is conscious
And that's
thinking.
magnetic. Like people, that's magnetic. And I love what you said about you're like allowing people to see who you are and your quirks. The reason why men are so attracted to me in this moment is because I think in your 30s you have a confidence, you have an energy and a frequency, but I'm also like a little weirdo to them. So like as an
Right?
example, like I will like send them, like I'll be
It's so
texting
fun.
with them and I'll send them stickers of my cats. And I'm like, hey, how are you? And then I'll send them like a sticker of my cat with like a play toy or like my cat like eating. Like I will just, that also makes you memorable. So these things that I feel like women are like hiding or avoiding or not being honest about are the things that men are so magnetized to, because then you're memorable. It's like, oh my God, she doesn't care. She's cool. She's interesting. She's different. She's showing a different side of herself. So give yourself permission to be silly, to be funny, to be goofy, to be like more of yourself, because that makes you so much more magnetic and memorable than just like being like, hey babe, hey, how are you? Like, good, I'm good. Like throw something out there so that you can just like really stand out and really draw them in because you're being truthful or fun.
That's so true. You can't blend in with all the other girls they're probably seeing, but then like try to like draw them in. You draw them in by standing out and being all of you and being a little bold as well. Like the guys that have been like most obsessed with me are usually the ones that I've been so comfortable with. Because I'm like, well, I don't even know if I'm that interested. Like, I'm still deciding, am I that interested? So it would be all of me, and I would not give any fuck whatsoever. And then they would get obsessed real fast, because you're just like, I'm all of me, take it or leave it. I also don't even know if I really want you. Like, I'm still deciding, and that's a powerful position to be in as a woman. And I don't say, oh, like, like don't give a fuck about them. But what I will say is, don't attach yourself too quickly by being too committed to them like right away, like after the first date. Like, why would you? You're still deciding, do they have a good character? Do they have good values? Like, a lot of people can pretend on a first date, right? So like really look at them before you actually give them your heart, or before you give them your devotion, in the sense that like you're overgiving. I think like the main problem with a lot of women is they overgive so damn fast and not letting the man earn it. I think you really need to let a man earn your trust, your like your vulnerability, like let them work for it a little bit, because like that's how they invest in you, and then they'll be obsessed with you because they've invested into you time, energy, resources, and eventually like also emotions. So like this is powerful. And so I love these like little scenarios where like you really like get to see, oh yeah, like I'm dating a little differently now. Like I do things differently to like a year ago, 2 years ago. That is super powerful.
Yeah, and I think just thinking about, when I was in my 20s, because I met my ex when I was like 24.
That's
and
crazy. Me
it's,
too.
I know it's so crazy. There you go. And just thinking about my standards and what I was looking for in relationship was so different than what I'm looking for now. And when I was in my 20s, I was like, he needs to be 6'4", hot, can slam dunk a basketball,
My type
swaggy.
is hot.
No, hot. Like I was just like very hot, like nice. Like I just like I had such a different standard. And when you get older and really know yourself more and really like step into the truth of what your heart wants, not just like your ego list or your manifestation list of like the silly things, like everything really changes. And so in my dating process now, I'm like, I have an idea of what I want, but it's more so the energy and the frequency. And the men that I've dated have actually been very, very different than any man I've ever dated before, because I wanted to experiment with what that would feel like to be with a really successful man, a really rich man, to be with a man in finance, a man that's an artist, a man that's an athlete, like all of these different men, and kind of like stepping into their worlds and experimenting. And like some of them have been hot, some of them haven't been. And it's like, it's been beautiful because it's really given me like a different texture to things. Because I will say I was so obsessed with, not obsessed, but I really was into looks before. And I
Which
think
is
as I've gotten
human thing, right? Like it's
for sure,
normal.
but I
to,
also
like,
think it's a
want
younger thing.
attraction. Yeah.
For sure. And you should have someone who you think is hot, for sure. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that my man's not going to be hot. But as I've gotten older, I've been dating men that have been less like hot forward. Because sometimes with a man, you'll be like, the first thing you'll say is you're like, he's so hot. And like now I'm like actually looking at men that are like super successful or like really on purpose or really confident. And it's been fun because when you're not dating the hottest man in the room, you come so much more confident and so much more yourself because you're like, whatever. Like I'd realize when I'd go on the dates with the hottest men, I'd be kind of nervous because they're so hot that I'd be like, oh my God, I have to like perform or be perfect. But then the guys that are like not as hot, I'm like, what's up? How are you? And then I'm myself and then their selves like, it's such a fun thing. So just giving people permission to experiment and sort of date outside their type or their comfort zone to see what they like, to see if there's something that they can find in other types of men that they even want to bring back to aspects of their type to expand what's possible for their type.
And ultimately, it's about how you want to feel too, right? Like what I've noticed is there's like connections sometimes where you're like, well, you're definitely not my type. But there's something about you that makes you funny, interesting, charming, kind, caring, funny. Oh my God, like, can we talk about humor being so hot?
Yeah,
like someone, I mean, like a really good.
I mean, that's my kryptonite.
Right.
For some reason, I like humor when men like roast me. Like I have like a roasting. One of my guy friends is like, you have a roasting kink because I love when men like make fun of me. Like it's like really weird. Like I met this guy recently and he was like, what did he say? We were talking about a mutual friend and he's like, oh, do you know Michael? I'm like, I know Michael. And I pulled up my phone to show him the text message thread that I had with Michael. And he's like, I believed you that you knew Michael. You didn't have to show me the text message thread. And I was like, this was so hot. I was like, he basically called me a loser. And I'm like, oh my God, so hot. Like I have like this weird thing about men like roasting me that is like so bizarre. So humor is like number one for me.
Right. I mean, I honestly think it's just the dynamic of someone putting you into your place. I think that's what's hot. It's like a man who's unafraid to like speak his truth and to tell you what he thinks. He's like, oh, like you're a loser. I'll tell you right now. Or, like that's hot because it's authentic and it shows confidence and it shows he doesn't just try to impress you. He's just being real with you. And that's almost like a form of respect too. Like he respects you enough to be honest. And he's like in his masculine leadership. He's like confident. That's hot. Yeah, it's fucking hot.
Yes. It's so hot. And it's so funny because this same man, I was with him somewhere else and he said something else. I was like, oh, you should call your girlfriend to come, like one of our girlfriends. And he's like, I'm not going to babysit her. And I was like, oh, and I thought it was so hot. But then I was thinking, would I want a man like that if I've been with him for a year? If I was like, hey, will you call whatever? And he's like, I'm not going to babysit her. It's funny because at the beginning, I'd be magnetized to that. I'd be like, ooh, hot. He's like giving me a little attitude. But then if we were in long-term relationship and he was doing that to me, I'd be like, dude, come on. So I was also kind of reprogramming that because I really like that spice. I like that confidence. But there's an element of being with a man who's kind that's like allowing you to like, I don't know, just like an agreeable man also has a lot of value too. So I'm kind of looking at that. I'm like, where can I get that confidence and that like banter, but still have a man that's going to like really be loving and kind and open and not like bantering 24/7.
Fuck yeah. No, it's really about the sweet spot, right? Because we want both as women. We want to like have a secure, stable man that makes us feel safe. But we also want the fucking flirt, the spark, the spice. Yes. Let's talk about the spark. Like, what is the spark? Why do we want it? How is it created? And how can we make sure we end up with a guy that we have the spark with that is still healthy? Because that's the ultimate challenge as a single, isn't it? It's like it usually feels like we gotta choose. I got the spark with this guy, insane attraction, amazing, incredible sex. However, definitely not my husband, not healthy, not emotionally available whatsoever. Or the nice guy that like picks me up, that plans the dates, that does all the things, but sex isn't mind-blowing and it's just you feel a little bit meh about them. Like how do we?
I know. I mean, if I could inject chemistry in my veins, I would. I literally live in chemistry. I can have chemistry with a cactus. I just like love that moment of that like zhuzh and like that like spice and the spark. So from my perspective, the spark is a few things, but I think from a spiritual level, what I've come to find is that the spark for me at least, and I think this could be the same for a lot of people, I find the spark when I'm entering a karmic relationship and when the karmic relationship is here for my growth or here for my healing opportunity. So through my single process, I've had the spark with a few men, and these were very karmic relationships. So in karmic relationships, there has to be a magnetism or a pull to one another. And oftentimes that's the spark. So two souls who have agreed to do something in this lifetime, and that is heal or grow or propel growth, have chosen to have the spark to magnetize to each other to experience that opportunity for growth. So that spark sometimes can be toxic, sometimes can be exciting, sometimes can be scary, because you're about to enter into a karmic relationship for your growth. So for me, as an example, I just got out of a karmic relationship, and right away, just sparks, chemistry, so much connection, so much energy. And I knew it was something that wouldn't last, but I knew it would be for my growth. And it was 2 months of intense growth and beauty and, hard times for sure. And I just exited it. And it was one of the most profound relationships of my life, even in the short time, because I met the karmic opportunities with consciousness. I knew that this was going to be short. I knew that this was going to be for my growth. And I wasn't going to take it very seriously, in the sense of, I wasn't going to attach to it in the long term. I wasn't going to try and make it something it's not. I was going to let it be what it is. And I was going to continue to look for the growth opportunities in it. And so when we can see the spark as like, okay, there's a spark here. There's something for me to pay attention to. There's something for me to be mindful of. I think the spark should really be just an alarm for us that's like, I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to go through this process. I'm going to enjoy myself. I'm going to have a lot of fun, but I'm not going to take things too seriously. I'm not going to get attached unless it's, a spark that lasts. And then I'm also going to look for growth opportunities.
I love that. We had a very similar experience then. That's interesting. I just had the same. And I actually, how do you then know though? Like you just said, unless the spark lasts. How do we know if it's going to last? Because it just sounds from what you said, it's usually you have the spark with those karmic, twin flame, whatever connections, where it's usually just temporary. So do you think we can have a spark with a person that actually will stay until the rest of our lives?
Yeah, I think so. I think you will. It's funny. I don't know what your experience was, but in my I've had a few karmic, but the karmic relationships I've had in the dating process, I've known the whole time that it's not my person for a long time. And so I have such clarity with my intuition now. My intuition is so clearly speaking to me. And so I know what it is. I know, okay, this is not it, but we need to see where we go. And so I will just know. I'm curious if when I meet my man that I will probably have that knowing and I'll have that spark, just because I have clear connection with my intuition. I think it will feel a little differently though than the intensity of what I've been feeling with these men, because there can be intensity in a few different ways. There can be an intense energetic connection, intense sexual connection, an intense mental connection, an intense emotional connection. But what you really want is a regulated system, but also a deep interest and a deep excitement and a deep reverence and peace. And I think the truth hits you like peace. And I think your relationship will also hit you like peace, but definitely have something that's pulling you forward with interest and excitement. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I think you'll have both.
No, exactly. Because the thing is, a lot of women are they wonder, right? Do I have to choose? Do I have to choose between the two? And I love that you're saying, no, it will ultimately feel peaceful. And I just yesterday or the day before yesterday, I saw a reel and I loved what she said. She said, with the right person, you won't even fucking date them. There won't be a fucking dating process. It will just be this instant connection of we're seeing each other and we're making this work. It's not this dating sitting at a date, feeling a little stiff and kind of trying to perform. It's just going to be effortless, basically. It's going to be it's a homecoming. It's you're remembering the person and it's just easy. It's natural, it's not so staged and not so you're pushing hard for it. It's very effortless. And I felt that. I was I think this is what it's going to be like. And there is still excitement. As you said, there still needs to be interest. You still need to be intrigued. There still needs to be this fire of I want to know this person. I want to know more of them. But at the same time, feeling regulated. If you feel insanely dysregulated from the start because you have crazy sexual attraction or whatever, then chances are that's gonna be the foundation of it. And then eventually you'll go to this point of we're actually not compatible in a lot of other areas that are very fundamental for relationships. So I love that you said that. And yeah, I think it's really about like trusting, holding the vision that this person exists. Because I keep saying, if I exist, and I can be very safe, very stable, very grounding, and I'm also fucking fiery and interesting and funny and all of those things. If I exist, he has to exist. No, like there is no way he doesn't. You know what I mean? So. Yes. I think like really like staying connected to that vision and like that mindset is really, really important. Huge. Now, we said before the foundation of all of this, like attracting the right person and like having good dating experiences, is having that self-worth, that confidence, like being grounded, owning yourself and not feeling the need to hide. What are some of the things that you've done this past year or so that have allowed you to own yourself more, to be more in your self-love and your self-worth, to embody your standards and be like, yeah, like this is what I require because I can deliver what I demand, you know? Like what made you, like what helped you be more confident, internally and externally? Both is important.
Yeah. I'm like, my friends like laugh at me because I'm insanely delusional. Like I give myself permission for that. Like literally if he doesn't call him like he likes me too much, he got scared. I'm like, oh, if we don't work out, I'm like, I was too powerful. Like even I was talking to my friend last night. I'm like, I honestly am so amazing. I don't know if there's anyone as amazing as me. Like I just like she like texted me that this morning. She's like, remember when you said last night I'm so amazing? I don't know. I'm like, I literally believe that. I truly believe that. I'm like, and the reason why I believe that is because I choose the harder path most times. I choose the positive mindset all the time. I choose myself and my faith all the time. I choose to have a life that feels really authentic. You know what I mean? Like when you are, and I know all the women listening or all the people listening are people that are making the choices for discipline, making the choices to build their life, making the choices to become the person that they want to be. That makes them different. That makes them people that are high value and high worth. And when you're in that, you just, you know, you have the confidence. Like it's just, so I've chosen to have this be something that's empowering. I made that decision overall. And I think what's helped me stay in my worth is listening to my intuition firstly. So if I find a situation with a man or an experience that's a no for me, it's listening to that right away. Because the way that we can get out of our worth is overriding our intuition and then having some loser fuck with us. You know? Like, that's where you're like, oh my God, wait, I am a loser, like, da-da-da. And it's like, no, your intuition told you no. And that would have stopped you from this experience. I also am in high worth because I make sure that the men I'm surrounding myself with now are like at a level that's interesting to me, that adds value to me, that are going to benefit my life and not just be like someone who's hot, someone who's interesting, someone who I can help or a project. Like the men that are in my circle would only add to my life in a way where they're providing, where they are supporting my career, where they are like adding some real value. So I also think it's like remembering that the man in your life needs to add a lot of value to be worthy of your life. And I think the third thing,
fuck yeah.
Oh my, 100%. And I think the third thing is like, I love my life so much even without a man. Like
exactly.
That's it. Like, I'm like, I love my friends. I love my work. I love my flow. I love who I am so much that it's almost like exactly he has to earn his place. It's like he has to prove that he's going to add value to my life because my life is so good right now. So building a life that you love and focusing on what that means for you and the specificity of that is really number one, because that builds so much self-worth, because you're like, I've built a life that I love. I want to protect it, or else I want to share it with someone. And I think that'll really help people be in a place where they can be more empowered with their dating.
Damn, I love that you said that. Like when people talk about self-love practices, it's usually the bubble bath, and like the face mask, and the manicure and the pedicure, and it's like cute. Yeah, like take care of yourself, like physically, but like that's the minimum. That's the bare minimum to take care of your body, to like feel good about yourself, to feel healthy and vibrant and strong and beautiful. Like all those things, whatever it takes, like do that. But that is the bare minimum. The more advanced version then is actually put in the effort and be devoted and be consistent to create a life, and that takes more than just like going to a pedicure and paying someone, right? It's like you actually put in the consistent effort every single day to make choices that are in alignment with your highest self, that support your future, that support your health and your well-being, cutting toxic people off, like making those harder decisions, and ultimately as a result creating a life that, as you said, you can be protective of, because you know that your life has so much value. It offers you all that you want. You provide to yourself all that you could possibly ask for. So then naturally, if like a little man-child comes along and just like wants to like, you know, fuck with your feelings, it's like obviously you're gonna like turn him down and be like, actually, you know what, cute, but like I don't have capacity. Like that's literally not a fit. And like you're so much more confident when you actually are obsessed with your life versus when you're trying to escape it and you're kind of like looking to fill a void, and then you'll settle. Chances that you'll settle when you're not fully happy and content and fulfilled in your life are so much higher. So I love that you said that.
Yes, it's so, so true.
So you're a big advocate on health, on wellness, on like mental wellness, emotional wellness, physical wellness. What are some of the things that have really helped you feel and look your best this year? What are wellness practices that you think actually work? Because there's so much chatter out there. Like what's the lifestyle that you're living these days, like that you hold yourself accountable to, where a man would have to, again, earn his place?
So I think firstly, disconnecting from all of the online conversation around health and wellness. I think what we do is overconsume information, and then we just overspend, and then we have paralysis of options and ideas and things that we're doing. So I know in the work that I do, there's so many options for supplements, for, you know, everything to do. Like, you should really be following intuitively what feels good for you. And I think in the beginning of any wellness practice or routine, and this was something that I did myself, having discipline is actually really important because you're creating a new neural pathway and you're creating new habits. So at this point in my journey, you know, 10 plus years in, 15 years in, I don't even know, I don't really have routines that I stick to because I've been in a process where I was very regimented for 5-7 years. And now I can be a lot more flexible because my mental health is well, because I have these routines that have become normal habits for my life. So as an example with working out, I don't really share or talk about working out that much because it is such a normal part of my life. I do it every single day. It's something that makes me feel good. And I really do it because of all of the benefits that work for me. So whatever your routine needs to be at the beginning, making it disciplined, finding things that work for you, whether it's journaling, meditation, nature, red light, you know, getting that routine in, disciplining yourself for a few years to make sure that you're sticking to it and you can see results, and then really being flexible about how that process evolves. A lot of the women listening are probably further along in their spiritual or health and wellness journey, so they can add some flexibility into their life that allows a little bit more presence and consciousness. Because I think what happens for a lot of women is that their wellness routine becomes a to-do list that they just check off unconsciously every single day. There's not a lot of feminine in that. There's not a lot of freedom in that. There's not a lot of fun in that. So the feminine is something that changes, evolves, grows, and something that should change over time. So maybe you've been doing your wellness practice for a few years, and maybe you want to add in grounding outside every single day, or maybe you want to do a tea ritual, or maybe you want to dance in the morning. Like, what is your soul calling you to do? Because if your soul is the one that's guiding you, that is what is going to make you the most well. It's not just your mind. It's not your mind being like green juice, celery, you know, protein shot, like whatever it is. Like, your soul, and that listening to your soul is the healthiest you will be, and not the mind. So really allowing your soul to lead after you've been through a period where you're kind of figuring out your routine through discipline is something that I really suggest that people can do.
I love that. And I love how you said basically first what you do is you have healthy masculine energy, meaning the discipline, the structure, like building that up, getting to the habit so it eventually becomes effortless. It's autopilot. It's ingrained in you. It's part of your identity in your daily life, your lifestyle. And then being like, all right, so now that I got that unlocked, let me actually flow a little bit more. And as you said, be flexible, listen to your body, your intuition, like not be so rigid about it, because I think that's the whole like thing for a lot of women is like they stay rigid, and it ultimately robs them of life quality. Because when you're like, oh, I can't go there, I can't stay up a little later tonight, I can't have this glass of wine, I can't do this, I can't do that. It's like, well, does that actually add to your life? Like on a physical level, maybe, but then again, like on a spiritual, like a joy level almost, it's like, no, it's actually taking away life quality. So I love that you're saying that, and ultimately making it your own, switching things up. My morning routine these days is so different to how it used to be. Do I feel amazing? Yes. Like, right? Like it doesn't have to be this Pinteresty morning routine. It doesn't always have to be those things, as you said, like the expensive things too. Like there is so many things you can invest into, but at the end of the day, like if you do things you enjoy and that make you feel good, it doesn't always have to be like the crazy pricey option. So I love that you're saying that. Now, how old? Okay, can I actually ask you how old you are?
35.
That is insane. You look so much younger. You look my age. I feel like we are.
Biologically, I just got my test. Biologically, I'm 26.
Wait, Slay. That is insane.
Slay.
Really.
Do you even understand when they told me that? I was like psychotic. I'm like, tell me that I'm the youngest of anyone you've ever met.
Right?
I was like, I'm the youngest biologically of anybody.
That is insane. That is so good. I want to get that done too, because I always feel 24. I'm 29. I feel like 5-ish years younger. Like I literally feel that way, physically and mentally. Like I'm like still a kid, you know? So
Yeah, it's like I'm a baby.
Right. And like that's amazing. But like turning 30 and like being in this state where you're like, well, Saturn return, life gets shaken up. Like what are some things that have helped you to actually still stay young-minded, but also like still feel like you got yourself, especially being single, you know, like what are some things that helped you still like hold it all together? Because let's face it, adulting is a whole thing for itself. And, you know, like sometimes we're just like, I don't want to be an adult. We are, and we're doing it.
Yeah, you just want to, you know, be young and free and feel good. I think mine's frozen a little bit. Okay, there we go. We're back. Okay. So for me, my process of, you know, staying young and kind of navigating the times of the 20s and even in the 30s, would you say that's the question?
Like, how do you navigate your Saturn return? Like, still feeling lighthearted, still being joyful, but like also like having it together in a way.
Oh my gosh, I did
Finding
it.
that
So
sweet spot.
just for anyone listening, so Almost 30 is the podcast that I host with my best friend, and we started it when we were like in our later 20s. And we just felt so lost. Like I remember us meeting and being like, there has to be more to life. I feel like I'm made for more, and I feel like I want to do something with my life. I feel like my soul has a calling. I feel like there's just so much that I don't know. Like I felt so unhappy. I had so much anxiety. I felt so restless, and she did too. And we were like, let's just talk about this. Let's start a podcast where we're open about our journey in dating, with our bodies, sex and relationships, with our spirituality and wellness. And we started it from our closet floor. So that's the podcast Almost 30. And it was about that period of being almost 30. So for me and my journey of my almost 30, I didn't have it all together. I was really unhappy. I was in a body I didn't feel comfortable in. I had so many body issues and body stories. I was in a relationship that I really struggled in, but was in for a long time. I didn't have a career that I loved. I didn't have friends that I loved. And on the outside, it might have looked fine. Like I might have looked like it was all together, but on the inside, I just was not well. And so during this period of the Saturn return, which is like around 27 to 30 for most people, this is usually the most powerful astrological event people will have in their lives up until this point. So it means that Saturn, which is like the granddaddy planet, it's like the serious taskmaster planet, comes back around to the point in your chart when it was when you were born. So this allows you to reevaluate your life up until this point. But what we're doing it with is a lens of consciousness. So you're able to look at your life and be like, do I like my relationships? Do I like my friendships? Do I like my job? Do I like where my life is headed? And Saturn gives us the opportunity for all of this to come up to the surface and for it to get sorted and rewritten. So if you're in a relationship with someone that's amazing and it's beautiful and you love each other, this relationship's probably going to get stronger because it's aligned. But if you're in a relationship that isn't for you, that's probably going to break up. And although it may seem hard, it is for your greatest good. So the things that happen in the Saturn return period can level you, can give you dark nights of the soul, can make you feel lost and depressed, but it truly is just bringing you to a point where you can come to the truth of who you are and what you want from your life. So for me, as an example, I was in a job that I really didn't like, and I ended up leaving that job, and I just picked up a bunch of odds and ends jobs. I was serving, I was nannying, I was doing like these random gigs in LA, and I was like rock bottom. I was in debt, I was so unhappy, and I wanted to make meaning from my life. And this is when I met Lindsay, and I was like, you know what? I want to try and do something different. I was at rock bottom. And what I didn't realize is that my soul was calling me forward to the truth of who came here to be. And that is someone that is a public figure, that is teaching, that is speaking. And that was like manifested through my relationship with Lindsay. So through this very natural conversation, this friendship, our connection manifested. I know, manifested my
connections are just something.
She's my soulmate. Manifested this dream life. And if I wouldn't have followed the call of my soul, even when I was at rock bottom, I wouldn't be where I was today. So using the Saturn return period to approach life with curiosity, with grace. And I think with our book, so we wrote a book, Lindsay and I, and it's really the book to support people in this lost period, in this transformational period. Anyone that's navigating deep times of change and transformation, what I want you to know is that this is your greatest opportunity in life to change your life for the better. I think we can think that when we have change happening, it's always going to be for the worse. I'm going to get a worse job. I'm going to never find someone. I'm going to, lose all my money. Like, we have this fear, but actually this is the transformation our soul has been begging for. So I really just want to impart on people that if you're in your late 20s, your Saturn return, if you're going through change, it can be the greatest opportunity for something that's really beautiful on the other side.
I love that you're saying this, because ultimately what you said before is true. Like, it strengthens and it elevates and expands what's already in alignment. Like, that's not going to just not everything is going to be taken away from you, basically, right? It's like what's true for you, what's right for you, what's aligned will stay and get better and deeper and all of that. And then everything that is not is just going to be removed, which, that's the scary fucking part. Like, that's the messy part. That's where you might feel like your life is falling apart, which you and I know, it's really just rearranging itself. We need the shakeup, we need the mess, we need the discomfort, we need the challenge, we need the pain, we need the temporary hardships in order to realize, all right, I can actually rebuild from a blank slate of anything is possible now. Like, you're getting out of a relationship, you're quitting your job, all those things. Yes, it's big foundational things, especially romantic relationships and jobs, careers, income is it feels so foundational. It gives us the illusion of safety, right? Even with me, I felt like I was relying on my ex, even though I was really not. But emotionally, it felt like it, right? So it feels unstable, and you feel like you're kind of you're kind of finding your feet again. And at the same time, it gives you the opportunity to root deeper into who you are and to really be all right, let's recreate. Let's paint the canvas new, right? And that's exciting. And so I love that you guys wrote a book about it. What can people expect inside? So you said, it's a guidebook, right?
Yes.
It's a little North Star. It gives people hope. It's a little compass, and helps people navigate that time, which it is possibly the most exciting time in your life.
Yes. It's like a spiritual guide to adulting, basically. It's it's how you can really navigate your life in a way that's in choice, in a way that's empowered. It is every single thing that I've done to become the woman I am today, and a woman that I'm so proud of, that I love so much, from an absolute rock bottom, relationship, life, body, job, everything, money, everything. And so Lindsay and I wanted to really do this for our audience, because I wish I would have had this. If I would have known that I wasn't alone in this process, that this was normal and this was for my greatest good, my life would be so much different, and I would have been so much more mentally well. And so we want to offer women just support on their path of awakening of their consciousness, and really be that best friend guide along the way. So there's chapters on our bodies and how you can improve the relationship to your body if you're someone that struggles with your body, on how to improve your finances in relationship to money, on how to improve your health and wellness, on finding purpose, on connecting to your spirit and your guides. It's just everything that I wish I would have known. And it's such a it's my life's work, in one little book.
Damn, I love that. Yeah, and it sounds like it's just really created for women to help them make their lives a little easier throughout this process, a little bit more joyful, a little bit more lighthearted, and really showing it gets to be a little easier than it was for you, not having had this guide or this, kind of having someone tell you this is for you, and reminding you, giving you little reminders along the way, because as you said, it is basically the time is priming you for the rest of your life. It's really what do you want in your 30s and beyond, and you get to co-create that. And so having some little extra guidance is like super, super good. So we'll actually put the link in the show notes for everybody who's curious and wants to order it. You can check it out in the show notes. Super, super excited. Super proud of you too. Like, damn, your life's work.
You, babe.
Love how you put that. Love how you put that. I will get my hands on it. I want to read it. It's like,
you better, my girl, you got to. It's like everything. It's just, and it's, yeah, I had to do a lot of mental work around the limiting beliefs I had around writing a book. Like, it's not for the faint of heart. You're putting yourself out there in a major way. And what really has made me feel confident about it was actually reading it. And I was like, no, this is really good. And like, I'm so hard on myself. Like, I can always find something to be better. You know, I'm my hardest critic. And so for me to feel proud of it and for me to feel like I stand behind it just is very meaningful to me. So I know that whoever reads it is going to get so much out of it. And
especially when you think about like that version of you, like of like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, like she would have fucking loved it. She would have inhaled it. Like you need to see it through those eyes, not your current eyes, right? So it's like $1,000,000,000%. I'm super excited to read it. Now that being said, what is your top tip to unfuck your life for our listeners? We always finish up our episodes that way. What is one thing where you feel like if our listeners integrated that, started to embody it, that would make an initial, like an instant difference for them?
I think the top tip to unfuck your life is to take radical responsibility for all the ways you have fucked up your life. I think if you really were to look at and be like, no, I fucked this up. No, it's so weird because now when I take responsibility for fucking things up, I actually feel better. Like I'm like, ooh, no, that feels like a relief. Like as an example, this weekend, I had a miscommunication between two friends. I had told one friend something, another friend something, and I fucked up. And I basically just told them both, you know what, I just fucked up. And when I said that, this one's like, cool, this one's like, cool, we're all good. Like, it's just easier and lighter than being like, oh, I don't know. You know, just accept where you've made mistakes in your life and find empowerment in that. And then you can move forward because you know that you're in control of your life for all of the beautiful things and for the opportunities as well as some of the shadows.
Damn, like I love how you put that, like you're freeing yourself.
Oh, it's so freeing.
Yeah, you're creating that freedom for yourself by saying, yeah, I acknowledge it. You know, I acknowledge that. I acknowledge this part of me that, you know, isn't perfect, that still makes mistakes. Your humanness, like literally acknowledging your humanness and being like, yep, I'm owning that. Because then it's like literally nobody can use it against you. I think one of the things I learned too, and that's why I love you saying that, is like when you're so at peace with the fact that you still make mistakes and you're not perfect and you'll continue to make mistakes and you'll continue to fuck it up, like that literally takes away the power for like anyone to like use something against you or to like judge you or to make you bad, because it's like, well, like you're literally judging a human for being a human. Like stop it, right? And that's like, it's so nice when you don't do that to yourself. Then other people can judge you, but it won't have power over you because you're at least not doing it to yourself. So I love that you're saying that. Responsibility for your own life, responsibility for the results and outcomes you're creating or not creating. Maybe where you're like, oh, actually, yeah, like I still haven't, you know, started the podcast or written the book or published the course or like, you know, like build a personal brand, and I should and I want to, and like just taking responsibility for your lack of results as well, basically. So I love that you said that. Thank you so much, Krista, for your time today, for coming on, for sharing your magic. For everybody who loved this episode, you can screenshot it, you can share it on your stories, tag us so we see that you loved it. And again, for anyone who's interested in the book, it's going to be linked in the show notes, so go check it out. Also follow Krista on Instagram. Love her weekly meme threads. They're so good.
They're the
like
best.
They're so my humor, you know.
I know. I was like, I need to do a meme thread tonight. I was like, I'm feeling a meme dump.
I'm waiting for it. I need that. I need that in my life on a weekly basis. And so for anyone who loves the podcast, you can subscribe on either Spotify or Apple Podcasts. We publish episodes every Tuesday. Thank you so much again, babe. That was great. And for everybody who tuned in, thank you so much for your time, for tuning in as well. We appreciate you, and we'll talk to you very soon.
Bye. Guys.